we've got our third match in 6 days coming up here in a couple days against Minnesota. Then on the back end of the weekend, Indiana, two teams that are above us in the RPI. And, you start getting to this time of year that, those types of things start mattering a little bit more, opportunities. Two top 15 RPI teams in front of us. Minnesota at home on Wednesday. Very good Minnesota team, and then maybe the best team that Indiana's ever had on Sunday. So certainly looking forward to the opportunities in front of us.
Kelly, you've talked about this group needing to get healthier, but kind of in the shorter term, 1-3, in ranked matches since losing Charlie. What does this group need to do to improve to be kind of more competitive with these two top 15 RPI teams coming in?
Did you say our record's 1-3 since Charlie?
Against ranked teams.
Oh, okay. What do we need to get better? It's we are getting better. It's I think it's you take the Nebraska match. That was the best passing match we'd had all season long. It's a great passing match for us. Unfortunately, it was our worst transition match of the season. I think we had 070 in transition, and I think going into that match, I think we were the top transition team in the league. And so, but each match is kind of a different entity, I guess, if you will. So, that was the issue that match. There's. I don't know. That's. I'm not saying that's a loaded question. It's a tough question because I don't think it's one thing. We've just got to continue to evolve and get better, and which I think anybody that's been watching us can see that. But I think anybody that saw our match on whatever night it was, Thursday, Friday, that there's some separation. Between those two teams as of right now, but. Quite frankly, there's separation between them and every other team in the country right now. And so we put up, when you're putting up certain numbers that are the best that you've done all year, and it still doesn't get you a set, I think that probably tells you a little bit something. So one thing is we've got two more opportunities in front of us, really good teams, and then it doesn't stop there. Probably the back half of our schedule is probably a little bit tougher than our second, so it's or than our first half, and I think we'll probably learn a whole lot more about ourselves in front of us.
Kelly, speaking of Charlie, the telecast showed her kind of working out and working on her setting. Can you update us on timeline at all? Yeah,
she's, I think the camera's got her yesterday doing a little bit of setting, which she's done for, a few days. There's a difference between setting. She was able to get her hand up above her head pretty, after a few days. Setting a ball and setting it with range is probably a little bit newer, but then there's something different of doing all the different moves that you've got to do. And, so we'll see. It's I think she's progressing well, and I think there's she's not doing everything right now. I would say that.
Kind of along those lines with Charlie, how much time would you like to have her in terms of chemistry-wise to get that back up with everybody, in order to kind of have a chance for postseason?
It's funny, when somebody is healthy, you want as long of a runway as possible, but when they're not healthy, it's like, we only need a couple days, right? So I don't know. You take what you can get. You try not to do a lot of judging. There's we've got a setter that's running the show right now, Addie Horner, that I think is getting better every single week. Really, really excited about her improvement. And I know Charlie is, with the health team is working like the Dickens to try to get back as quick as possible. And, I think that's certainly possible. And, it's certainly something that everybody's trying to do, but, we'll see as we keep testing it.
So Kelly, just with yesterday on kind of rebounding, I know you said at the end of your press conference of the game on Friday, they had to flush that game quickly. But is there anything that stood out to you the most, in rebounding in that win yesterday?
Yeah, I mean it's obviously you're playing a team that hasn't won yet in the Big Ten, right? And so, but there's a way that is playing that no matter what their record is, that things just jump out at you. I mean that is, it's easy. It's easy to say, here, we've got to get past something in a very short period of time. It's something entirely different to do that. I mean, every coach in the country is saying, hey, you got to move on. You got to move on quick. But it's not often that we're getting swept at home. And, and then, a late night match, and then you turn around and early morning to go east the next morning. And then trying to, that can, you look at the schedule and you look at this, the standings. I think a lot of times that can be a tough match to kind of get up for. I was really, really proud of our team for the energy that they came in, the focus that they came in with, being able to leave the previous match behind them and give your next opponent the attention and respect that it deserves for you to play very well. I thought we served and defended really, really well. I loved the way that we defended. I thought Addie might have set her best match up to this point. I thought she did a great job. Thought our attackers were opportunistic when it was there, and then they lived to see another day when it wasn't, and recycle a ball or put the ball in good places and work hard in transition and get good swings. And so I just thought it was just a really, really good match for us.
You were mentioning Indiana probably having their best team. Didn't seem like they were on the national radar really at all going into this year. Kind of I realize I'm asking you this on Monday and you still have some time, but what's maybe kind of impressed you the most about this, what Indiana has done this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's they probably lose their best player in the portal, went to Texas, but it's the ability right now to go out and get people, whether it's international players, where they've got an elite setter that just got in, or going to the portal and gets people in. You've got the ability of turning things around very, very quickly, more than what you've ever been able to do. And they've got talent, and they've got some returning talent that mixes with it. And Steve always gets his team to play hard. I mean, that's one of their things. They go hard. You know what you're going to get when you're playing them, but the talent is probably elevated.
So Kelly, in this time of year, last month of the regular season, and just with injuries or bumps and bruises or whatnot, like what have you and the staff just have to do to, do you have to change up schedules or whatnot compared to earlier in the year, or just maintaining health or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a balance that every coach in every sport is trying to manage right now. This time of the year. I mean, it's always in not just the back of the mind, the front of the mind is how do you progress? How do you get better without beating the crap out of your people? And and you're probably swaying back and forth. There's times that maybe you leave a workout, you're like, maybe we went a little bit harder than what we should have. Others, it's like, wow, we look pretty fresh. We probably could have squeezed a little bit more out had we wanted to. And so you're always playing that game. The one thing that's just changed over time is the analytics. I mean, they're hooked up to all kinds of stuff when they're going through a workout now, and you're getting all kinds of printouts and everything else. So it's probably a little bit more scientific. I don't know if we're any healthier because of it, but we certainly have more information.
You were mentioning RPI being a big part at this time of year. I know it's not your favorite metric, but kind of by November 30th, where do you want to be, given that you have a couple of those losses are pulling that number down versus other metrics? Where would you feel comfortable in terms of being one of those top 16 seeds?
Yeah, obviously a big goal is to be hosting that opening weekend of the tournament. I mean, that's a big deal. It's a big deal to this community and our fan base. We've been able to do that every year but one since I've been here. So that's always a goal. Is can you get here? And if you don't, I mean, coaches are always trying to find a way to spin it, anyways, right? But it's you really want to be home, and can you play your best at the end of the year? I mean, that's the goal of every single coach in every sport. Can you play your best, and what is your plan to do that? Health certainly is a factor. We've got to be healthy at the end. We've got to kind of continue to figure out how the pieces work together. But I don't know if there's anything magical, but that's important. I think the winning the league is out of our. I think that's beyond us right now. I don't see Nebraska losing 3 sets. Can we get to second? Yeah, and I think that would probably be something that would, I know Ricky Bobby says if you're not first, you're last, but I think you got to find something that you're going for, and second sounds a whole lot better than anything else right now. And then you're trying to get your RPI and your wins and get better, and so you can give it a run in December.